I submitted a short story to Yankee Magazine a while ago. I haven't had a total rejection as of yet, so who knows, maybe it'll get published. But they say opportunity comes to those who wait, and I've been waiting, looking for a place to read the story, so it's just a short story, and I'll get it on here with you. It's called It Was the Summer of '55. It was the dead of summer, 1955. Dad had bought a new car, a 1955 Ford Beach Wagon with shiny new metal sides that looked like wood. The rest of the car was painted a light colored green. It was the first automatic shifting car he had ever owned. Most cars still had a clutch and manual shift on the steering column. It was time for an annual road show to the Rhode Island beaches, being the 4th of July and all. The car had 3 bench seats, 2 to face front and a third that faced the tailgate. Dad packed the car. By the way, does anybody remember those type of cars and the trips and things? Yeah. Okay. Well, Dad packed the car with 2 folding chairs, 2 shade umbrellas, 1 rubber air mattress, buckets, shovels, and 1 white kerosene Coleman stove, 1 large cast iron fry pan, and a coffee pot. Mom packed towels, beach blankets, bathing suits for 2, and a change of clothes for all of us. In those days, Speedos weren't that cool. And I might as well, let me get this right, I might as well have gone nude, as it was so tight it outlined everything I had, but what did I care? I was too young to give a damn about that. Mom also packed a Coleman metal cooler with enough sandwiches to last a week, not to mention every known fruit to man and adult beverages. Children got lemonade from the Coleman 1-gallon thermos jug that Dad jokingly called bug juice. And at least we not forget the paper cups and paper plates, and knives, forks, and salt and pepper. It was important to take off as early as possible to get a parking spot somewhere near the beach. By 7 a.m. we were on the road. The youngest would sit or stand up front with Mom and Dad. There were no seat belts in those days, not even the car seats for infants. The dashboard was all metal, so if Dad stopped real fast, you'd beat your brains out on the windshield and then on the dashboard. Me being the oldest, I had to sit in the way back with the tailgate window left open so the exhaust fumes would come in the car. And what the hey, all the rest of the windows were open to let in fresh air. A few fumes wasn't going to hurt the kid in the way back. That might explain the way I was, why I was the way I was when I was in high school later on. The kid in the back, that would be me, would toss out paper airplanes and such out of the back with nothing better to do. It was a boring ride for a kid. After an hour or so, we pulled into a roadside rest area to park and cook, and Dad would break out half of the gear just to make breakfast and coffee. The speed limit in those days was around 45 miles an hour. There was no interstate highways. There was no direct interstate highways that would be direct to Rhode Island beaches from where we lived in Massachusetts. But Dad knew a shortcut of multiples of 2-lane back roads that went on forever, and the only gas station en route was almost at the beach. You had to fill up before leaving home. And God bless you if you got a flat or something somewhere in between. After reloading the car, we were back on the road again with a chorus of "Are we there yet?" which started and then went on until poor Dad was ready to kill all of us. Excuse me. After 2 hours on the road, we finally made it to the beach, safe and almost sound. Dad found a parking spot not too far away and grumbled about having to pay to park. To a kid 8 going on 9 years old, it seemed it was a 20-mile hike to the white sandy beach. Poor Dad had to figure out how to get everything to the beach to claim a spot far enough up the beach where high tide wouldn't affect our staked claim, while we kids ran to the surf and Mom chased after us just to make sure we didn't drown. Excuse me. Mom and Dad wore swimsuits and the kids had to change on the beach. A little embarrassing, but we did it just so we could get in the water. We left Dad to set up the umbrellas, the folding chairs, the beach blankets, blow up the rubber raft. Dad was a smoker, so I'm sure that he probably blew his lungs out trying to inflate that damn raft. I can only imagine Dad must have been exhausted. Mom never got the suntan lotion on us until after we got out of the water. By then it was too late, the sun had already burned us. It seems just as fast as we got to the beach, it was lunchtime. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, the best along with lukewarm lemonade. Somewhere in my heart, I really believed that it was bug juice. I was gullible in those days. Sometimes we even got potato chips if the adults hadn't already got to them. The worst part of the whole trip was about to happen. We as kids had to wait an hour after eating so we could go back in the water. I don't know, does anybody remember doing that back then? Yeah. Nobody was allowed to get cramps for not waiting long enough. It was awful to have this beautiful surf and not be able to enjoy it. Dad and I walked up to the beach store and he bought overpriced hats for everyone after we left our others at home by accident. Mine was a captain hat, which I thought was pretty cool, and it went along with my white clam digger pants. My sister got a sailor's hat. I think every kid on the beach was wearing a hat and was waiting for the hour to be up. Some people on the beach had put on this white goop on their nose just to keep them from getting burnt. As a kid, it looked really stupid. Everyone had a brand new transistor radio listening to the Red Sox play on the beach. You could hear them up and down the beach. When once in a while you could hear some young folks listening to some new stuff called rock and roll, like Wake Up Little Susie, We Gotta Go Home. Before you knew it, the hour was up and to the surf we went with a rubber raft. Mom and I would catch these big waves and ride them in and knock people over who didn't see us coming. She used to laugh so loud it embarrassed us kids, but we had a ball just the same. Dad was up on a blanket taking a nap, sleeping with my little sister. It was years after that I figured out he didn't know how to swim. And just as fast as we got there, it was over, we had to go home. Once again, Dad had to carry all the belongings back to the car while Mom brought us kids to the cold water shower to get the sand and salt off us. We screamed as the cold water felt like water from the North Pole on our sunburnt flesh. And once again, I stood naked in the throngs of people while Mom helped us get dressed for the ride home. And I'm sure my perfectly pasty white butt must have impressed some of the most hardcore and ardent onlookers and the young girls. It was a mad dash home. Now this, for you Worcesterites, you'll remember this. It was a mad dash home so we could get unpacked, have something to eat, get in the car, and go see the fireworks display at Green Hill Park. It always seemed like there was 1 million people that watched the sky that night. After it was over, Dad had to drive through the traffic to get us all home, and by now my sister and I were dead asleep in the back seat, arms, back, chest, face burnt rosy red to a crisp. And in the morning we wouldn't be able to move, it hurt so bad. And Mom would cover us with a substance called Noxema to cool down the heat and the sting from too much sun from the day before. It didn't always work. To me, it always made me smell like the back end of an ambulance, or at least that's what I thought. A week or so later, we'd be peeling off layers of skin off our bodies in big sheets. Every year, I always looked forward to going to the beach. It was always the best. Years later, Dad used to tell my girlfriends that he pushed me around in a grocery cart until I was 16. He always got a big laugh out of that at my expense. I miss the both of them so much. That's it.